I get into that, let's go over the very first trade that we took here on SPY. I'm going to zoom in on the entries so then you guys can see them a little bit better. So essentially, SPY opened up and it pushed straight up into the 5 EMA. Now, you're not necessarily going to be able to see that the 5 EMA on the daily basically top ticked. That's where it went. And that's where I executed and then simply paid myself, locking in $2,975 on this trade. Very simple, straightforward trade. Now let's discuss Qs. I do need to zoom in on the chart here a little bit so then you guys can see what's all going on. And then I'm going to zoom in on my entries because multiple trades were taken of essentially like working the trade over and over again. So market opens up, it dips down and kind of confirms. So entered in long here, paid myself. On the confirmation and just working the trade, because right at lows of these first couple of candles into the level is only 50 cents away. So more than enough for me to start in on the trade. That's what I did. And we quickly just spiked right up. Beautiful trade on that, locked in on that. And then I'm just kind of working this trade. I know that I'm protected into this former major resistance and now kind of like support. So that's what I'm working. And every time it comes down into that level, I'm seeing it as an opportunity to get involved with it. So multiple entries until I get stopped out. So that's important to note. But what I really want to show you guys with my entries and exits, if you look at the entries, and some of you may not know really how to take a look at entries charts to really get an idea of what's going on or what that trader was doing. If you take a look at my entries, especially later on, the later entries, they are right at lows, right dead nuts into that level. Okay, that's important to realize that that's what's going on. I'm not betting or necessarily hoping that that level is going to hold. I am simply entering and adding into a position that I've already locked in profits, and I locked in a lot of profit in the morning. So I'm okay with entering small on these extra ads, and I will pay myself very quickly on them. It's very tight. It's basically like trading really tight and just keeping your entries and exits, not looking for more, not getting loose with your entries, like chasing entries. It's literally into that level, okay? Because then if it does fail, which it did later on right here, it's not a big deal. So locking in $6,275 on this trade, and the bulk of the profits was made at the first little bit, the first couple of like trades and entries here in this area. And then the rest was essentially just working that chart until I get stopped out. We knew because of this gap down that we would most likely sell off. But until that support breaks, guys, what a lot of people do and where they make mistakes as new traders or struggling traders or something that's just going over a trader's head is that they start thinking, right? It's like, oh, because of the gap down, I think it's going to sell off. And although you may be correct in your assumption, you are literally guessing until it breaks. And this is the distinction between a professional and a poser, a professional or somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing. If you ever hear somebody say, oh, I think it was going to do that, so that's why I did that, and then they give themselves a pat on the back because it worked, it's nonsense. It's absolute bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because any professional trader trades support. Like if you're a technical trader, you're trading that support. It doesn't matter whether that support holds or not, right? Because a professional trader will always have another way out of that situation. Like let's say I entered into this trade and I didn't pull any profit and then I got stopped out. So I would take a loss. There's always another trade. Like SPY bounced pretty good right off that 9 EMA right there. Beautiful, beautiful position. Could have easily got back green on that. So there's always a way out of these situations. But the bulk of this trade recap in this lesson here this evening is work that chart, work that trade. If you are above support, go long into support. And if you're below resistance, short into that resistance. That's it. Plain and simple. Keep this shit simple, guys. A lot of people make mistakes by overcomplicating or thinking, oh, I knew it was going to do this, or I knew it was going to do that. Like, how many times have you seen jokers online say that sort of shit? It's nonsense. And people believe it because they happen to be right that one time. But what a new trader doesn't realize is that trader isn't trading strategy. He's literally trading his gut. And if you're trading your gut, you will never be consistent over a long period of time. You just won't. It's impossible. It doesn't work that way. That's why trading is so difficult for most people, is because they don't know how to work a process and actually what the word strategy means, like to actually work that strategy through and through, day in, day out, every single trade, every single day, everything. Like, you need to work that over and over and over again. And if you do that, you will be consistent over time. That's why it's so hard for day traders to be consistent and to actually make it doing this, because they want to tell themselves that, oh, I thought it was going to do this, so I didn't take the trade. That's nonsense. That's not what a professional does. A professional will take a trade even though they may think it's not going to work. Why? Because it is working to strategy. You are applying strategy and process. That's it. That's the secret to this shit, guys. What I just gave you is literally the secret to day trading. And if you apply that tomorrow, starting tomorrow, you will absolutely see your results flip, and you will have nothing but success. You could, if you did what I just told you to do, you could literally quit your job tomorrow and fucking day trade for a living and make good money doing it. The problem is, again, people will always err on the side of their gut or their emotions. And me, I realized that a decade ago. You can't do that. It's not going to work. So now I need to trade strategy through and through. So I know that was long-winded, but what I just gave you is so bloody important. I hope you guys realize and understand. And please do what I just told you to do, and you will do amazing. You'll start kicking ass. So on that note, folks, if you want to learn how to trade professionally and consistently and actually learn from a proven professional day trader that's been doing this for a decade plus, come to tricktrades.com. And we have a no trader left behind guarantee. And what that means is we will never throw you off to the wayside. Never. Even if you're struggling and struggling and struggling, we're never going to screenshot your P&L for my gain. In fact, I talk more about our traders that are struggling than I do about the ones crushing it and killing it, because I never want to come off that way. I really want to help traders become successful. So let me do that. And if you think I'm full of shit, why not just trust one more time? What if I am telling the truth, right? So with that note, come to tricktrades.com. Adios, folks.